Yo, what up, friends?
Welcome back to another video episode and another episode in general, since this is going on the next audio version of the Ball and Buds podcast. We have one of our favorite buds back with us again, MLB insider Mike Wheby. My brother, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Hey, we are hanging in there, my friend. We are getting things done. The Ball and Buds is blowing up. I know that we recently, the big news was Ball and Buds is recently hooked up with Let's Talk Sports and also the Sideline Sports Network. And so we are blowing up and getting some good promotion. So this will be also on their networks as well. So make sure you all go and check them out as well on YouTube. And our
Very
YouTube
nice.
channel, is at Ball and Buds. So, my brother, we are here to talk about baseball. I know we wanted to get you in before the season started.
Before we talk about baseball,
Yes,
all right, I need you to rank the Celtics game last night. The low of the low and then the high of the high that happened right after that. All time, your favorite personal sports moments from your teams. Where does that sit? Is it on the Mount Rushmore? Is it where's that
wow.
after you? That was insane last night.
It's got to be on my Mount Rushmore, right? It's got to be,
Mhm.
right? I mean, I would think maybe, I was barely old enough, but I started watching the Mets with Bill Buckner between the legs, so that would be
Mhm.
something. Maybe when the Garnett Pierce. Ray Allen won the championship in 2008 would be another one. Yeah, this would have to be up there, dude. It was the
That's crazy.
craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, it was like, wait a second. Okay. We missed the three, game over, series
Yep.
over, we're going home. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Derek White just floats in like a magic angel, like angels in the outfield. He's just like,
I'll tell you, Duncan Robinson owes that team, the whole team, dinner for a month after the last 5 minutes, what he did out there. That three he missed, that wide open three where there was no one within 15 feet of him, right at the top of the key. I can't believe any NBA player would miss that shot. Wild to see.
especially him, because that's what he's supposed
Especially
to be
him.
there to do. So,
Yep. Yep.
wow, yeah, what a crazy game! And it's actually really funny you brought that up, because just this morning I was watching a Bleacher Report highlight, and it was this people at a wedding in, I guess, Miami, and they are watching the shot. They see the three miss, and the whole wedding explodes.
Oh
They
my
have
gosh.
like smoke cannons. They
Yeah.
have like Miami Heat flags that they're running around with, and then all of a sudden, about 10 seconds in,
Womp
one
womp.
of one of them realizes on his phone, he's like, "Wait a second, guys, this is not good." And then the camera just goes dark, and that is what is happening to the Miami Heat season, because there is no way on God's green earth that they will win Game 7 in Boston. I will tell you, I was there last year for the
Omar, I watched
Milwaukee
him,
one.
but I watched him win a bunch of games in Boston like a week and a half ago.
That's fine. Game 7 in
There is a way.
Boston is something totally different than
Yep.
I've ever seen in my life. So
Well, good luck. No matter what, it's been a fun ride this series, and you get, if you win, you'll get a well rested, vascularly fit Denver team that's ready to go. So good luck.
well, and this is my thing about that, and I said this yesterday on the Albert and Canteen podcast. Shout out to them for bringing me on yesterday. But I was saying that I think the rest is going to hurt the Nuggets. I think whoever comes out the East is going to win, just because it's been 8 days rest.
Hey, uh, I will politely disagree. I think getting pushed to 7 games mentally, physically, the travel, they've been sitting at home, laying in their hyperbaric chambers and getting massaged, and I'll take the guys getting massages over the guys getting run in circles any day of the week. So
I said, man, you got Joker over there being lazy, little tater tot running down the court, can't even jump 2 inches off the ground.
the tater tots are his. They're like his power pellets, his Pac-Man power pellets. They're his spinach. So
There's Popeye spinach.
he's just been out in the bag, just popping tater tots like now and later's. He's going to come back stronger than ever.
I love how he has the cargo shorts with the Napoleon Dynamite pocket full of tater tots.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to know that I do have the body of a professional athlete. It makes me feel good sometimes, and the vertical leap of an NBA MVP, it makes me feel real good. So
You
thank
could
you,
be
Joker.
the dad bod demigod. I
Hey
like
man, I can
it.
jump. I can jump over like 3 credit cards. I don't know if he can get over 3. So
No, I can guarantee you he cannot at all. Oh man, I love having Mike Wheby on. Great conversation we're starting off with. But let's get into the real thing we came to do, which is talk baseball. We have not been able to get together yet this year, but obviously there were a lot of changes, right? We had the pitch timer, which is the
yeah.
major change. It has
Hmm.
lowered game time by average of 31 minutes per game so far. We have the bigger bases. We have the shift restrictions. My friend, how do you feel about all these changes? What are you hearing about how the players are reacting to these changes and anything else you have on it?
It's all great, man. I love watching the game. It's been very nice to on the East Coast at least have these games end at you know 10:15 instead of 10:45 11. Um, the speed of the games has been a lot faster pace. Time's cutting about 30 minutes off. I love seeing people steal bases again. I love seeing the proper amount of players in the infield and seeing players be able to hit the ball up the middle again. You shouldn't be punished for that. I'm sure they could find a way to hit the ball to the opposite field as well. But it's all the rules have been great. The only one I think is kind of weird still that I'm not quite used to is the the throws over to first base, the throws over to the occupied bases where you only get 2 disengagements per at bat. Kind of strange. Not quite sure I get that one. Two seems a little low, but there haven't been any real major issues with it. So I guess it's working pretty well.
Well, the major issue there is that right now, with the two disengagements, as you mentioned, after that second one, the base stealer now pretty
Oh
much
yeah.
has free reign to stealing that base.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so, no, go
And
ahead.
watching these players start running bases again, it's been so much fun. Just seeing these guys just take off again, and not worrying as much about these the 3 outcomes, the strikeout, the walk, the home run. It's kind of nice seeing guys hitting over 300 again in the league, and seeing guys move runners again, and seeing a lot more of the a lot more guys bunting runners over to get runners in scoring position because guys can hit singles again, and we're not stacking the infield. It's been a lot of fun. It's made the game a lot more interesting to watch, a lot more fast paced, and a lot more exciting for me. Not just because my team has been winning finally for the first time in 5 years, 6 years, but
Oh, yes, my friend. We will get into those O's in just a second. Now, last year in the minors, stolen base attempts were up by 26%. They haven't seen that large of an increase, but we are
Mhm.
seeing a lot more stealing to the point where we may have our first 40-60 in Ronald Acuna. I know you feel really good about the offense. Do you think, though, looking at it from a different angle, that it could be a problem eventually if it's too much offense, and then we balloon back into that era? And it seems like we just keep this, vacillating back and forth between offense and
No,
no offense.
no, it's not. It's not a problem. If it's they think it's a problem with stealing bases, the pitchers are going to have to adjust the same way that the batters have had to adjust to every team having 4 guys that can come in and throw 101 every game. I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and everyone's got to adjust. They're professionals. They got to figure it out. Um, so yeah, I have no issues with it. You know, I've I'm still seeing the one thing that's driving me crazy, which are these catchers catching on one knee, which absolutely fries my brain. So until they stop catching on one knee and are in positions to field the balls and to attack the runners at the bases, I don't want to hear anybody complaining about people stealing bases or anything like that. So
And I can't say anything
it's
because
terrible. I don't understand it. I do not get it. It makes no sense to me. I've seen so many games just end on a pass ball because the catcher's got he's doing the splits with a runner on third. It's absolute madness to me.
pass balls being thrown into the outfield, things like that.
Yep.
Now, again, I can say nothing because
Mhm.
Francisco Alvarez, our catcher, rookie catcher, is like the spearhead of this
Mhm.
generation. Of he won't do anything unless it's from his knees. He
Yeah.
won't
Yep.
throw. He doesn't even take his mask off to catch a pop up, which I don't understand. But hey, maybe that's
Yeah.
something they teach nowadays in the minors.
Mhm.
These kids are getting wild, my friend. But
I
speaking
can't
of,
imagine Buck being okay with that. Of all the managers to let that, I can just see him yoking him up by the collar and like, having a conversation with him in the shower that he don't want to have.
Buck is getting soft in his old age, let me tell you. He will still give you a quick side eye, but
Mhm.
he's becoming a little softy. But anyways, let's talk about your O's. The Buck Showalter link there is to the Orioles. Your O's, the Tampa Bay Rays. What is going on? The Yankees are still there. Boston. Every team in the AL East has a 500 or above record. Start with your Orioles and then go into the AL East, my friend.
Yeah, a lot ahead of schedule for me. I figured we wouldn't be here till next year. I thought this team would be floating around 500 again, and I was going to be happy if we got to this point of the year and we were still somewhere around 500. I didn't expect to be 15 games over 500 at this point in time. It's been a lot of fun, man. Team's young. Usually you see this mix of veterans and young players, but it's just mostly young players and guys that have been there for a couple of years, just learning together, coming up through the minors together, and they just tore everything down, rebuilt everything from the ground up, and the young guys that are up now is a different strategy than I'd seen before. It's a little different than what the Astros did, even though it's kind of following that pattern where you get all these guys and you keep them together in the minors, and they learn to win together in the minors, while the team in the majors is absolutely in the toilet. Um, and that's what's happened. So you're seeing these guys come up, and you got a mix of the guys that came up last year. Adley's kind of ramping up and getting where he needs to be, and we're able to win while still taking time for guys like Gunnar Henderson to be learning how to play still in the major leagues, and not just sitting, turning over at bats in AAA, destroying everyone. Some of these guys are getting a real chance to show what they can do in the majors while still winning games, which has really been interesting. The division is a absolute monster. I don't, completely expect us to be in first or second place when the season's over, just with as close as everybody is. And, our margin of error is a lot thinner than most other teams. They can veteran pitching that exists on a lot of these other clubs. There's more depth there that we don't have. If we lose a starter, we have to go to AAA and get a 22-year-old, where the Yankees can call someone up or get a veteran from some other team pretty easily with with their financial situations. Same with the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, and so that leeway is a little bit smaller with us. So I don't expect it to last the whole season, but man, it's been a lot of fun to watch. A lot of fun to see, beating up on the Yankees and the Red Sox. We swept the Jays a couple weeks ago, and just a lot of fun to finally see. So.
Woo, the O's. The O's drinking the Natty Bows in Baltimore. Yes. The O's are the hit. Tampa Bay, as you mentioned as well, right? What a
Yeah.
start to the season they had. Talk about that winning streak
Yeah,
they had.
man, I'll tell you, I've seen two teams that have really like made me get those big Japanese animation eyes when I was watching them play. The first was Atlanta. Atlanta was so good. I've watched so many games already this year. They're easily the best team I've seen, the best starting pitching I've seen. Great bullpen. Their lineup from top to bottom is incredible. They're pulling guys off the bench. They've just got their team is perfect. It feels like their team's built to win today, right now. They're ready to win. The other team is Tampa. They're using that same formula they've been using. Starting pitchers go through the lineup twice, and then
year.
they're just cycling in these arms that come in and just throw fireballs from different arm slots, left-handed and right-handed, and they got arm slots going everywhere. And they play great defense. They hit. I know they're leading the league in home runs, but the fundamentals of what they do with moving runners is really incredible. And they're their ability to get guys over and get guys in without the long ball has been a lot of fun to watch too. So those are the two best teams I've seen, and it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can take those two teams down. They're the best I've seen so far.
Yeah, I cannot disagree with you at all. They are definitely by far the two best teams that have been playing so far. They've and again, right? Tampa Bay, they do this every year, like you said,
Mhm.
right? This is what they do every year. This is their formula, and still somehow there are no Tampa Bay Ray fans. Where are y'all?
They're hanging
Why
out
do
with the
you
A's fans.
like?
Yeah.
Why do you not exist when your team is so good?
Have you been to that stadium?
Derek took us. Shout
How'd
out
that
to
how'd that go?
it was about 10 people with us
Uh-huh.
in a beautiful afternoon game.
Was it
I could hear you yell from the outfield to me on the third
yeah.
base.
Was it a place you'd want to go back to, or
I mean, the stadium was cool. It was a good experience. Is it the best stadium? No. But could I have more than 200 fans, please?
yeah, yeah. Yep. Yep. Hey, I mean they're going to lose that team at some point in time, I would imagine. So they're going to go the way of the A's at some point in time. So
As I keep saying, come on, Tampa Bay, us here in Nashville. We are waiting for you to become the Nashville Stars.
yep, I think you're a lot closer than you probably think. So it's a
Let's hope
shame to see that. Terrible to see that happen in Oakland. I mean, Oakland's how many teams have they lost? They lost. They
everything.
lost they lost the Warriors,
Lost
right?
the
They moved the
Warriors.
Warriors to San Francisco.
Yep.
Lost the A's.
Mm.
They lost the Raiders.
You already know that.
They lost 3 professional sports franchises
Wow.
in what 4 years, 5 years?
For a city that has such a long history, like these teams have been around Oakland for
Oh
40,
yeah,
50 years.
yeah, yep. These aren't new teams. These are established teams with histories, and um, it's kind of sad to see. I hope they figure out how to house a team at some point in time.
Yeah, it's definitely sad. They may need not even have a chance for a while to house a team, but at least for our buddy Derek that we just shouted out, shout out to you again. Both of his teams are in Vegas or are going to be in Vegas now, so at least he can just become a Vegas
Yep,
fan.
there he goes. Yep, and when the team moves, they'll have a chance. They'll have a chance to spend some money, and um, you know, they'll be able to be a real team at least at some point in time. Hopefully,
I saw the renderings of the potential ballpark, and it was across from the MGM Grand, and I'm like, why didn't you put the Raiders Stadium there? That would have looked so much better.
well, I think they can use the baseball stadium in the off season, but the football stadium's too big,
Oh,
right?
that
When you're
makes
looking
sense.
at because the football stadiums they're usually housing what like 90, 100,000 now, and
Yeah.
the baseball stadiums are usually housing around 40,000. So they can repurpose that in the off season for
Hmm.
Beyonce or whoever to come in there and do a week and wouldn't be a problem.
I need I just need, it doesn't matter who it is, a Beyonce residency at the Oakland A's
Yeah,
park.
at home plate, just keep the plate there on the.
Middle of December, it's still hot as hell.
Mhm.
She's just
Yep,
out there. That's great.
yep,
That's tremendous. All right, cool. So obviously, right, they made these changes. They made the schedule changes to where all the teams now play everybody. They made all of these changes in hope for better rhythm, better
mhm,
plays, better
yeah,
offense. All of these things, and it's starting. And I agree with you completely that things really are working out for them
yeah.
when they made
It
these
was.
changes.
I'll tell you, it was nice to see like the Angels come to Baltimore. They're coming this year. If I want to go next year, go see Mike Trout, I can go next year, or the year after that, or the year after that. Not once every 6 years, or every 3.5 years, or whatever it takes for the West Coast teams to fly back and forth. It's nice. It's nice to know that we're not going to be playing 2/3 of our games against the Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Yankees. We also get to play the Guardians and the White Sox and the Royals and Oakland. We get to play all those teams a little bit too. So it's been refreshing. I'll tell you that.
Speaking of, let's shout out the other D brother and his horrible, horrible White Sox. What is happening? There
They
is
can't
not a
pitch, man.
there's
They
not a
can't pitch.
dude. None of their starters have under like a
Can't pitch.
4.5 ERA, dude.
It's wild. Giolito, all those guys. You just think are coming into the season. You're like, yeah, they'll figure it out. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Guys can be great one year and just turn around the next, and it's gone.
I
Yep.
mean, I keep
It's tough.
picking Dylan Cease as my AL Cy Young, and he keeps just screwing me.
Well, I have a feeling he'll be wearing my orange and black come July or August, something like that. Yeah.
Whoa!
One of
Trade
those guys is
prediction.
one of those guys is, if not all of them are getting moved.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're all good.
If I'm the White Sox, I kind of want to get out of all of them, get away from all of them, and just start over, because this ain't working what they got going right now. It ain't working at all.
They need a total rebuild. They tried to bring in Pedro Griffin as the new manager, but Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, none of their young players are batting well. As you mentioned, their whole staff, from Cease to Giolito, no one is pitching well. And as you mentioned, they're all getting traded. They're all getting traded. Anyone good on that team is gone.
Yep, they gotta start over. They just have to.
So let's stay here. Let's stay on the trade deadline. Do you see any major players getting traded? And I sort of mean Shohei Ohtani, but they're still in the race. What are you thinking?
Yeah, he's not getting traded. They're not gonna be the team that picks Sam Bowie, over Michael. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna let him go. You can't do that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny. There's just not a lot of these players out there that are in the position to get traded right now. A lot of the guys that are going to become free agents have another year or two of arbitration left, and they don't have to, they don't have to get traded right now. So, but yeah, I see a lot of pitchers are going to get moved. There are a lot of these teams that are kind of not coming out of nowhere, but have the opportunity to make some runs. Like if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm going to try to get a pitcher still. I know they're only a game out of, a game over 500, but they're only half a game out of first place. So, why wouldn't you try to go out there and get one of these veterans that you can rent for a year, or, keep close. And I like it. I think, a guy like Corbin Burns, I think if the Brewers start to slide, I think he's a guy that could go. I think he's one of the few people that is hitting free agency after this year. So, and they're not going to give him the $30 million or whatever he's going to want. So, they might as well try to get something for him while they can. And so I'm excited about it, about the trade deadline. I always am, but I just love watching the whole thing like reset out of nowhere. It's always fun.
Oh, definitely. I love all sports trading deadlines. They're always fun for me. That being said, all right. Well, we've talked about a lot of the, really good contenders. What are you seeing? Let's go ahead and get your early mid-season predictions of what you're seeing so far for your MVP, Cy Young, World Series picks, my friend.
Look, you don't even have to ask who my AL MVP is. We've been over this every time. If you think anyone but Shohei Ohtani is the MVP, fuck out of here. Get out of here. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from anyone. I don't even want to hear the Judge thing last year after the season he had. I get it, but no, not doing it for me. In the National League, I think if the Mets can hang around, I think Pete Alonso's got a real good shot there with the way that he's been putting up, those home runs, and he's hitting, clutch homers and driving people in, and I mean he's been, he's had quite a start to the season. He's been really exciting.
The polar bear. I love the polar bear.
I know. It's been pretty wild. Cy Young, McClanahan in Tampa Bay, probably if he keeps pitching like he is now, I just don't see anyone else that's really going to be able to come in there and really throw a monkey wrench in there. If you're looking at the National League, Logan Webb, I guess, has had a pretty good start to this year. No one's walking away with it so far, so I can't. It's hard to, really put Spencer Strider, if he can come back healthy, has a good shot. There's a lot going on over there, but there's a lot of time left. That's the other thing. It's so
early.
I mean,
Super early.
We're barely. I don't even think we're a third of the way through the season yet. But you kind of get a feeling of where you are. Maybe Zach Gallen has a shot in the National League as well. There's still just so much time left. You just can't tell who's going to get hurt, who's not. But
yeah, just one of your early leaders in the clubhouse sort of thing.
Yep.
What about your early World Series predictions so far? What are you looking at?
Like I said before, the team I saw that looked the best was the Braves, and wasn't particularly close for me. That team was fantastic in every aspect of the game. I mean, they could run, they could field, they could hit for average, hit for power. They had great starting pitching. Back end of the bullpen looked great. That they legit could bring out 3 top tier starters that can really stand up with the Dodgers if they're at full strength come playoff time. And their offense is just head and shoulders above what the Dodgers can put out there right now. And I think it's going to be very tough to beat them. In the American League, I mean, Tampa's been really good, but
we know, don't get fooled by Tampa.
You know, the playoffs are different. They're just a different animal. And you know, I'd like for them to be there. I'll always root for teams in my division. You know, the division my team's in, except the Yankees, to do well in the playoffs. But yeah, I guess if I had to pick right now, I'd still probably pick Tampa. They seem to be the most well-rounded, but it's hard to pick against Houston when you look at that team. And even after losing Verlander, you still look at him and you just go, man, that team is deep everywhere. And, you know, it really is. They're going to be a good team for a long time.
Yeah, those are the 2 most complete teams in the league, even though Tampa Bay is having a better season than both of them. You know, I think the Astros and Braves, as composed, are 2 more deep teams with more roles, more bench, better starting pitching, better bullpen, everything like that. And I would agree they are the leaders in the clubhouse for that World Series early now. That being said, there are a couple more questions I wanted to ask you that I forgot to ask at the beginning at the top. But these were a couple of controversial issues from the offseason. The World Baseball Classic. We had a bunch of injuries. I know that you and I talked about this offline. But what are your thoughts on the World Baseball Classic? Should it be played? When should it be played? Should it be played before the season, after the season? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it should be played. It was great. Of course it should be played. I mean, it was anybody that watched. The people that are complaining about it are the people that didn't watch it, right? And I don't know if they've got
Mets fans who lost.
And Mets. The stuff happens. I mean, they do it in every other sport. FIBA plays tournaments, Olympics and all the World Cup games. It happens in every other sport. It was incredible to watch. I had a blast. I wish they did it more often. So, you know, I'm glad that, you know, now that, you know, COVID's kind of calmed down a little bit, we're going to be able to have it hopefully on a more regular basis. And it's not something we're going to have to wait 6 years or whatever to watch again. But yeah, they should do it. And I think before this season, right when they did it was probably the perfect time.
Okay.
I don't want to see it at the end of our season because then there's going to be nobody healthy. I mean, who's going to play? Every player that played in the playoffs, just immediately take them off. Take them out of they're not going to play.
That's
right?
true.
They just played a whole season. They just played a whole thing, all the playoffs. They're not going to play anywhere. These guys have been from February to what are we going into November now? Right? They're not going to play. So
what about a midseason tournament at the All-Star week like the hockey does?
Yeah, I don't necessarily like that either. Just because you're working with so many different leagues, you know, all across the Dominican League and the Chinese League and the Korean League and the Japanese League. They're all in different, you know, spots in their season.
Yeah, they play different times, right?
Yeah. But the majority of the players that are really making a difference across all of the teams outside of Japan are playing in the United States Major League Baseball.
Yep.
So I think you kind of have to, and Major League Baseball owns the tournament, so you don't like it, go do something else.
Right.
Have someone else, you know, you think you made me, okay, make another me, right? If someone doesn't like it, go make your own. This is what MLB is doing, and I don't have any problem with it at all. So.
Word. All right. Yeah, no, I definitely wanted to get your thoughts on that. And also the other one from the offseason, the Carlos Correa Dodgers to Mets to Twins.
Yeah.
Biggest $200 million bargain in history trading around. What do you think about that saga that happened?
Oh, woof. Congratulations,
Woof.
Twins. I mean, it's funny. They're still in first place, but they've also, oof.
And he's not even playing that well, though. I think he's playing
pretty poorly. Yeah, and yeah, that was a whole thing, man. That was funny to watch. They kept throwing Baltimore's name in that mix, and I'm glad we didn't we didn't pursue too hard or try to give up any of that money, because that's like a crippling kind of contract to have if you're a small market team, like the Twins. How the Twins need that money. They can't just go throwing 28-30 million dollars around like that. They got to be very specific, thoughtful, and careful about who they put that kind of investment in. And I know there's some outs in there for the Twins to get out of the contract, and yeah, that was a thing. I'm just glad my team didn't get in there. Hey, you guys dodged the bullet, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Dodged the bullet. I'm not gonna lie though. When it happened, he got traded. I called my dad. I was like, "Oh, we got the last piece we needed." And then just the drama and the steps that unfolded and just everything that happened, and like, oh, no, we don't have him. Oh, wait, he went to the Twins. Oh, wait, he's to the Dodgers. Wait, Twins fans, are you happy that he went 2 other places first?
I didn't see the fit with the Mets either way. I mean, he was going to have to play a new position no matter what, right? They were either going to have him play second or have him play third. And you want Beatty not called up, or do you want McNeil gone? What are we doing?
It was Steve Cohen just trying to spend money.
Yeah, you got Verlander. Go get someone you know is going to help. So yeah, I didn't see the fit with the Mets at all either way, but.
I'm with you. I'm glad we didn't, and it's worked out. Our rookies have been called up. We've been playing well. I'm sure you're happy as well that y'all didn't sign Machado with everything that he's done with his contract in San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, I think that whole sliding door of what happened if the Orioles had signed Machado instead of Chris Davis is a whole choose your own adventure book that could go a whole different way. Because that was a decision. The decision was, you taking Chris Davis, you taking Manny Machado. That sliding door is a whole thing.
Wow, I forgot all about Chris Davis.
Yeah, who knows what happens if you spend that $30 million on Manny Machado? Your team probably stays somewhat competitive for a couple years, but he's going to leave. He was eventually going to leave for whoever the highest bidder was. I get it. It's America. Knock yourself out. Go get all the money you can get when you can get it. So you could, you could break your leg tomorrow and never be able to run again. Who knows? So.
It's all about capitalism in the United States. We know that. Awesome. Do you have anything else for us today? I think that's all the questions I had.
Oh man, I'm good. Thanks for having me. Congrats on the partnerships you got there. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, as always, and yeah, it's going to be good for both of us. And I'm actually told them, because they were looking to have somebody to talk baseball. I was like, man, I'll get you my MLB insider, and we'll get him on there and talk to you. So
let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. I have more work to do. The Ball and Buds podcast is blowing up thanks to people like your MLB insider, Mike Wheby, my brother, my friend. Go ahead, hit them with your Twitter, sign off, and all of that good stuff.
Thanks for having me, Omar. Congrats again. You guys can get at me on Twitter. At Mike W, Mike DOUBLEEWE. And I'll talk to y'all pretty soon here. Definitely before All-Star break, trade deadline time.
All right. Yeah, you'll see us again soon on another video. Thank you for joining us, the Ball and Buds podcast. We love you. Thank you for the support. We're out. Peace.
See ya.
5,000.